So I just got a couple more questions for you. I'm not going to keep you here all day, although this has been a great chat. I'm glad that you've taken the time to go through all these different things, talk some strategy with me.
Sure.
Just to kind of take it back to your current role with the team, and what social media in particular has done for your own career, as far as just a learning tool, connecting with others in the industry. What have you taken from social media from an individual perspective, aside from the team?
I think it's probably been for me all about connections. For example, like this whole interview was set up via, it started on Twitter
Yeah.
because I saw something that you guys had put out, and I thought it was really good stuff, and I tweeted about it, and you said, "Hey, thanks for the shout out," and then next thing I know, you're contacting me for an interview, and I've certainly been privileged enough to appear on some panels at conferences and speak at some conferences, and so I think from a personal standpoint, it certainly has made me more connected to people in my industry, whether it's the sports industry or the technology industry. Um, I think I look around, it's allowed me to express myself in certain ways. For example, like I love Instagram, and I use Instagram a lot. And although I haven't used it a lot lately, but I do use it a lot. I have like almost 800 images up there, so you
Wow.
can tell I'm like clicking away. Um, so it allows me to express myself that way, where I might not have had that opportunity before without some sort of social media outlet. Like
Hmm.
I could post it on my website or my blog or whatever else, but it wouldn't get the exposure that it gets via social media. Um, some of the conversations I've found out about how people are using things, where I would think that as a fan, I would use it this way. But, uh, I ask the question on Twitter or on Facebook, and people are like, no, I don't use it that way. So it's like,
Interesting.
oh, all right. So maybe we shouldn't go down that route. But, those sorts of things where it's connecting with people, finding out information, and, obviously ultimately being able to express yourself in one way, shape, or form is probably the way that I use social media, and the way that I've connected with people. And I think that, you know, I already, had this position when social media became like really active. I think that we learned from day one using discussion boards and those sorts of things. They were social media. That was a community that you built,
Yep.
and that was
Yep.
social media before the term Web 2.0 and social media. So we were using it, and um, I think that we built upon that same philosophy.
Yeah. And like you mentioned, you actually bring up a good point there too. You were in your role prior to social media, so kind of it came along with you as you have evolved in your responsibilities with the team, which we didn't really even get into a whole lot, but you used to be involved in. My God, I'm telling you, people, this guy was the hardest working man in sports when I first met him, because he was working 12 to 14 hours a day. He was up in the press box. He was in the room that had wires all over the place, and he was managing the social stuff and running back and forth, and he had a smile on his face the whole time. I couldn't believe it. But for people nowadays that are trying to say break into the industry and essentially do what you do on a daily basis, I'll let you speak to this, but I know from my point of view, when we hire for people that essentially do what I do every day, I go straight to their social accounts to see how they use the tool and how they express themselves. It almost is like a direct extension of who they are from their personal brand perspective, how hard they work, what they know, what they don't know, how comfortable they are in reaching out and communicating with other people using these tools. They're important skills to have in the role. What would you say about all that? Like, as far as the social stuff.
Yeah, I certainly think that that's a great way to use it. As I mean, essentially, if you're going to become a social media manager or director for a company, I mean, that's your portfolio. It's funny whether you're on, LinkedIn or, Facebook or Twitter or, even using YouTube in a more social manner or Flickr. All these outlets, that becomes, as you said, your part of your personality. It shows who you are. It shows how connected you are. It also shows that maybe you're the right type of person for a position because you're out there and you're willing to reach out and communicate with people that you may not know personally, or you're not afraid to make the, I don't want to say cold call, because you have some sort of information about that person via social. But yeah, you're willing to go out there and communicate. It becomes, as I said, your portfolio
Mm-hmm.
of work. I think when we hire people here, we do look at their social stuff, and it's not always just to go, oh, okay, what's this person look like, or what, look. We've all made mistakes in the past. I'm not going to go onto your Facebook page and go see if you were partying when you were, 21. I know it happens. Come on, it's life. I'm not going to be that guy. But I do want to see if you're posting stuff beyond what you ate for breakfast.
Mm-hmm.
Or more than pictures of your cat or your dog. I want to know that you're actually having that conversation with people, that you're not just, spewing stuff out there. So I look at it from that perspective. And I want to know that they're getting answers back too. I want to know that people are talking with them as well, mm-hmm. and that they're just not putting stuff out there. That there is conversations happening,
right?
Because that way that hey, I can tweet 1,000,000 times, just by typing something out every few minutes. But if nobody's answering back, then there's no engagement. There's no conversation.
Yeah.
And so, if I was going to give advice to somebody that was looking at one, I would say, yeah, there are going to be those guys out there that are going to look at your, or HR people that are going to look at your social stuff and go, okay, this guy, this gal, she, he or she was out there drinking the night before. I don't know if this is somebody we want on our staff. But I would also say, other than cleaning that up, you need to have that conversation with people. You need to engage. You need to talk with people. You need to express yourself, and don't have flaming conversations. Have earnest, honest conversations. You don't have to go, oh, you're such a dick. Be cool about it and go, okay, look, I don't agree with that. Maybe you should look at it this way, or maybe there's something else out there. And you're allowed to have, you're allowed to disagree.
Yeah.
But as long as it keeps the conversation going,
Yeah. So having an opinion is important, and no, I couldn't agree with you more. Even the other thing I would say too is just the hunger, the desire to learn. Right? You
Absolutely.
See a lot of people that dive into social media, and the ones that find immediate success are the ones that start following people that they idolize, that they see as mentors, that they see perhaps in a position that they want to be in, and start sharing what they have to say in a genuine way, and then eventually contributing to that conversation in an intellectual way. And before you know it, you're on the radar of the person that you want to be like. And next thing you know, you're chatting with them at a conference, right? It seems like such a logical thing that a lot of people forget to do, is just be human, be a real person that's genuinely interested in learning and building relationships with people, and you'll see success from the social side of things.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's Alex Ball, our developer here. One of the ways he got on my radar was he actually came from an industry that was not. He wasn't in the development role at his prior industry, but what he did was he built a site specifically for this job to show me his skills, and then he followed me on Twitter, and and started having these conversations, and I knew about him, and when it came time to pull the trigger on who to hire, it wasn't it wasn't a real struggle.
He was top of mind, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Free work. You just brought up a good point about do free work. People have a misconception about what that means too. Like, by no means do I mean, live on the streets and work for free forever. There's just a difference between doing free work and doing an internship where you're being told what to do and you're just plugging through spreadsheets, right?
Right.
The proactive nature that your current developer showed landed him a job, right? And how much time did it really take him? Probably, if he's skilled at what he's doing, it might have taken him a full day, a little dabbling around here and there. But if it got him his dream job, then I think he can honestly say that it was time well invested.
Yeah, absolutely. And with the intern stuff, one thing that we always look at with interns here is how proactive are they? Because once they've obtained an internship here, we don't want them to just say, okay, what do you want me to do? Oh, let me pump out another Photoshop file, or oh, let me look at these analytics. It's, oh, look, have you thought about using this sort of method on Twitter? Or, oh, all my friends are doing this on Facebook. Maybe you should look at this and see where this trend is going. Mm-hmm. Oh, hey, I just found a new piece of code that we could use that fits into, our site that could make this great thing. So it's always, we're not afraid of ideas here. Just, bring them on. Yeah. Well, there's not necessarily a bad idea. It's just one that just doesn't fit right now. And it's funny. Square, do you know Square, the credit card technology that works with iPads and iPhones and Androids? I had mentioned that to somebody here in ticketing a long time ago. Well, one was Anthony, and two was somebody, I think Anthony's boss. But I found out this morning at a meeting, oh yeah, we're using Square now for some stuff. And I'm like, what? I told you that. But yeah, we're not afraid of ideas. It's just sometimes they take a little time to develop and work into the mindset of people around here.
For sure.
And I think it's the same with any organization. I mean, if it's a good, viable idea, yeah, they're going to run with it. If it's, an okay idea, maybe it just needs to be built up and fleshed out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, and I've seen you guys be proactive in a number of ways and using new technologies and experimenting with things, and it is exciting to see. And I really appreciate you doing this interview with me, Sean. And I know that I'd like to do some follow-ups too as things go along here and we start to see how Google Plus is making out, and when you guys decide to dive into Pinterest, and whether or not your perspective on that platform will change or stay the same or whatever it might be. And so I guess just to wrap things up then, how would people connect with you online specifically? So LinkedIn, Twitter, how can people connect with you? Even your website too?
WashingtonCaps.com.
No, your personal website.
Badlemon.com. I haven't written there in a while. I've been for me, it's funny. It takes forever for me to write a blog post because I think about it and I become, what is this? Is this really going to go over that well? But on badlemon.com, Spike P is my Twitter handle. Sean Parker on LinkedIn. Facebook I like to keep, for my friends and family. But you can always become a fan of the Washington Caps and reach us that way.
What about Instagram? How do people check out these 800 plus photos you got going?
It's almost 800, not quite 800. Now I gotta start posting there again too. It's Spike P is the name I use on that one, and I'm on Google Plus as well. So on a personal level, so Well, when Google Plus first came out, you had only one person could manage the Google Plus page. So
You're the guy.
now there are things that we can do to get other people to manage it as well.
Nice. Good stuff. Well, awesome. Thanks very much again, Sean, for doing this. And if you see Anthony in the hallways, make sure you give him a good shot for me on the way by.
I will. Good body check.
Good body check. There we go. All right. We'll talk to you again soon.
Thanks, Trevor. See ya.